Dear students, today we are going to discuss about the hydroformylation of olefins, the OXO process. The most important example of homogeneous catalysis involving an organometallic compound is the so-called hydroformylation reaction. It involves the addition of hydrogen and carbonyl to a terminal alkene to yield an aldehyde. Thus, the net reaction is RCH2 plus H2 plus carbon monoxide, that is carbonyl, gives the corresponding aldehyde. Since it is used to make oxygen containing compounds from hydrocarbons, it is also known as OXO process. The importance of OXO process, the technical importance of this reaction from the ease with which the primary OXO product, the aldehyde, can be converted into a multitude of industrially important secondary products such as alcohols by reduction, acids by oxidation, or esters by allowing the alcohols to react with acids formed by the reduction and oxidation of aldehydes respectively. Some of these secondary products are useful as plasticizers, detergents, lubricating oils and solvents. Come on, let's go to discuss the mechanism of this hydroformylation process. Okay, step 1. Step 1 involves the generation of the active catalyst. You might have seen in the first step, that is, it is the formation of the active catalyst. Why I am insisting it is termed as active catalyst means we are having in the top of the reaction CO2 CO8 times. It is said to be a catalyst, but this catalyst cannot be used as a catalyst. Therefore, this catalyst must be converted into an active catalyst by the addition of hydrogen. Therefore, we will get HCO CO4 times from CO2 CO8 with hydrogen. So, let us come to step 2. Step 2 is the addition of alkene to the coordinatively unsaturated HCO CO4 times to form a coordinatively saturated 6-coordinated alkene pi complex. Step 3 involves the insertion of alkene into cobalt hydrogen bond to give an alkyl intermediate. Step 4 is the another insertion reaction, namely carbonyl insertion to give an acyl complex. Step 5 is the reaction of gaseous hydrogen with the acyl complex to yield an aldehyde and HCO thrice. Step 6 is the final step, and it is the rapid absorption of carbon monoxide, that is carbonyl molecule by HCO thrice. Here you must able to differentiate CO is cobalt and CO thrice is carbonyl. Okay, let's continue to generate the active catalyst HCO CO4 times, which will restart again the whole catalytic cycle. Now let's move on to the defects, because we have seen the importance advantage in the previous. Therefore, let us come to the defects of this catalyst. This catalyst works well only at 150 degrees Celsius and at a pressure about 200 to 400 atmosphere. So it is looking therefore it is requiring very high temperatures and almost high pressures. Okay, usual normal atmospheric pressure is 1 atmosphere, but it requires 200 to 400 atmosphere. It is somewhat unfamiliar pressure controls. Okay, so only expert can only approach these plants. Okay, in order to manage 200 to 400 atmosphere. This necessitates the use of vessels which can withstand this high pressure and high temperature. Okay, so in order to handle this high pressure, it requires that kind of vessels to withstand this high pressure. Otherwise, they will be burst out. Okay, then this leads to the high plant cost for the industrial process. So in order to withstand and maintain, manage this high pressure, so this construction of plant requires very high cost, high expensive. This catalyst also catalyzes hydrogenation of olefin under these conditions. Hence, a part of the olefin is lost as alkane. Okay, here one more disadvantage is since we are taking the alkene, so this part of the alkene might be converted into aldehyde, but the remaining would be converted into alkane. Okay, so that's why it suffers from some type of defects, that is drawback. Okay, you may ask that, sir, what is the problem of getting this byproduct alkane? Okay, sometimes if we get alkane, this byproduct alkane may be mixed with that wishing product that is called aldehyde. Okay, sometimes they may be mixing both, they may be mixed both together, therefore it will be very difficult to separate them. Then volatility of HCO, so CO 4 times. Okay, the recovery of the catalyst, it says that the recovery of the catalyst, okay, the volatile nature, the volatile means EC recovery, so volatile means readily evaporating. So this readiness of evaporating of this active catalyst requires more number of more quantity of catalyst. Then final drawback, since the addition of HCO CO4 times to unsymmetrical olefins can occur in two directions, and since HCO CO4 times can isomerize olefins under these conditions, it is not surprising that mixtures of linear and branched chain aldehydes and ketones are often obtained. Okay, if you are taking Wilkinson catalyst, in that Wilkinson catalyst we have not suffered this type of problems, this type of difficulties. Okay, it is only that the Wilkinson catalyst is used to hydrogenate selectively at the terminal position, but here in this OXO process we are applying the given the given catalyst for hydroformylation, that is alkene to aldehyde. But sometimes we will get that, or sometimes that reaction will be end up with not only the alkene, so not only with alkane, but also with the branched chain alkanes, and sometimes aldehydes and sometimes ketones. Okay, if these problems were not coming, then this will be the a good this would be the good catalyst for the hydroformylation process. So that's all about the hydroformylation reaction. However, some modifications were characterized. Let me reveal that modification. Various modified catalysts have been described for increasing the yield of linear aldehydes. Tributyl phosphine and triphenyl phosphine substituted cobalt carbonyls and rhodium complexes have been tried. Of these modified catalysts, the most important is the rhodium catalyst. Okay, this hydridocarbonyl tris type of rhodium complexes was also discovered in Wilkinson laboratories. Okay, thank you. Let's meet in the next video.